What were some of the pain points you were experiencing before Simplesat?
We were using Autotask at the time, and we started using their feedback system, which was a survey. It was multiple questions, and it just wasn't nice. Wasn't pretty to look at all. But we just weren't getting many responses.
What made you realize that you needed a better customer feedback solution?
I think it was just a case of the account managers stressed that a client wasn't happy, and yet the engineers didn't know about it at all. The problem is that the client's unhappy, but they're unable to, they're talking about a ticket from 6 months ago, longer, and they've held that against you all that time. And if it was just kind of brought up at the time, then we could have reacted, we could have jumped straight on it, and we could have stopped that from being a problem. So it was the case of, when account managers bringing that to you, it's not very helpful because there's nothing you can do. They were unhappy about something 6 months ago that you can no longer do anything about. So it was a case of we identified the need to jump on these things at the moment, and the account manager, by the time it gets to the account manager, it's too late. So we needed to catch it, straight away, fresh.
What made you choose Simplesat over the alternative solutions?
I think that it's ease of use, it's simplicity. Like I say, the crew who won, we trialed, it was good, but there was a lot to it. And at the time, we were going through quite a bit of growth. So it was a case of the time needed to set up was beyond what we could give it. Simplesat was just a case of an hour, 2 hours, it's in place, leave it, and it kind of runs itself.
How was the setup and onboarding experience?
Can't complain. The chat support's fantastic.
The biggest compliment from my side is that if anything hasn't been right, we've been able to use the support chat, and the setup's very simple, documentation's there.
How are you benefiting from the HubSpot integration?
It's being used across marketing quite a bit now as well. I think what you guys have done with integrations recently is excellent. So currently when someone leaves a positive review, it lands in our HubSpot, right? Actually, even negatives. It lands in our HubSpot, and then we have workflows assigned to do certain things. So if it's a positive review, we send them an email asking for a Google review. And I'm not sure if it applies to where you are and your kind of business, but Google Business Profile right now is like super relevant in marketing, and making sure that you've got an adequate number of reviews on Google can have an impact on your local SEO. So it was a case of we needed to really work on Google reviews, and Simplesat gave us, on a daily basis, a few people to email to who had already had a positive experience. So within it's been like 2 months of that being live, we've got near 45 Google reviews. The open rate on our email is like 35%, it's pretty much average. So the Simplesat positive reviews that we've got, and the integration you've got with HubSpot has actually aided us on boosting that. But to add to that, as part of introducing some things into HubSpot, we now have workflows for negative reviews. So if we get a negative one, a task gets assigned to our customer success team who handle it, reach out to the person, and everything's tracked. And yeah, it's fantastic. I think, yeah, the integration approach you guys are taking right now, I think is perfect.
What are the results that Simplesat has delivered?
I think obviously Google reviews have increased significantly. You're talking 40 in what is a relatively short amount of time, considering like we've never asked for it before. It's not something that we would do regularly. And that has had an impact on the Google Business Profile views. So, I mean, ultimately it does get a little hard to track sales because people call up. So we can't exactly attribute our Google reviews to a certain amount of sales, but what we can say is it's increased our visibility. So local SEO is significantly easier when you have a lot of Google reviews. And I think from everywhere from, the support we're able to give this better because we action things when it's, not so positive, to then, continuing to communicate with the customer when the feedback is positive. It just helps everything, really.
How has Simplesat made your life better?
I think it ties in with our kind of core values. We've always said that, we care more than the competition, that we sell that kind of personal touch. And Simplesat is fundamental to that, because it's a case of, rather than just getting a ticket closed and moving on to the next one, if the client's not happy, hopefully they leave a feedback and then we can respond straight to it. And to me, that's obviously showing that we care, that we want to make things right. The two obviously go hand in hand. Basically, without Simplesat, we can't offer that care and touch.
It works. The integration's great.
Yes.
Support's great. I mean, yeah, it's fantastic. I think it is just simple and it works.